So I have a piece of cherry. I don't remember what type it is or if I even knew, but I'm pretty sure this is the piece my friend John sent me because I remember how that was sealed up on that end. I decided it's time to turn it, and I went ahead and cut it down the middle, and then I had quite a surprise because these cracks developed right after I cut it down the middle. So this one has cracks on that end, but if I can get something cut out of here and turn, maybe I can stay ahead of those cracks. As long as they don't chase me all the way across this board, we'll be okay. And it wants to be small anyways, and the reason is I have made a number of really big ones, and it was kind of suggested to me that if you want to keep making bowls, could you make them a little smaller? We're running out of room. And she loves the little small ones anyway, so that's the plan. Let me get this cut down a little bit smaller. Hopefully it doesn't crack, and we'll get going on it. I have it on the worm screw right now, and because I've got a wider blade on my bandsaw, I just kind of cut it off on a 45 close to the radius. I'm going to use tailstock support. I'm going to start with a 5/8 bowl gouge and get it rounded up. I think we're doing about 650 RPM. Here's one of the cracks I could see in this one, and it looks like it's been that way a long time. It's more of a, looks like an inclusion there. Looks like it's liable to disappear just because of wanting to get this round. See if we can get a few more RPM. 727. Alright, that's fairly round. You know, I was supposed to do something I kind of forgot. I've been asked a number of times, people that don't have a 5/8, well, can I turn these bowls with a 1/2 inch? So I'm going to put this away, and we're going to finish this with a 1/2 inch bowl gouge. And here we have one right here. This is actually brand new, and the factory grind on it really looks good. I'm going to try that and see how it cuts. I can always resharpen it and get it the way I want, but that looks pretty darn good. Okay, I think we have that cleaned up pretty decently, and we still have this little cool feature right here that I would like to leave, but I can see it just looks like it was part of the growth on the tree because it's following that, and I sure hope it's not separated here. That would not be fun. Alright, so now we're going to give this a little workout because I need to flatten this end. I just stopped and sharpened this up with my setup, and it is really close the way it came, but a little steeper angle than what I've been using. So we're going to see how this cuts now. Much better. I'm going to finish out this tenon using a 3/8 bowl gouge. I'm going to square it up and make it flat on the bottom now, and this was an extra badan that I had, and I've ground it to do tenons. That should do it right there. Now we'll clean this up and decide, or I should say try to keep this bark, because that comes clear down to here. And if it goes away, it won't be a problem. Well, I think it's time to do some sanding. So let me get things straightened up a little bit and we'll do that. Alright, time to do some sanding. I'm going to sand in reverse at about 450 RPM, starting with 120. There are places that looks like maybe I could use 80, but sometimes a finer grit like that gets a little better bite on it and does a better job of sanding. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to start my dust collector, and while we're sanding I'll tell you a little story about this thing. I think I've had it for 5 years. So it seems like I've been having issues with the remote control. To turn it on, I would have to push on the button a few times, and finally maybe pushing on an angle it would start. I was certain there was something mechanically wrong with the remote control. Took it apart a couple times, checked the batteries, they seemed to be okay. This time I decided that's it. It's a really unusual battery. I ordered a pack of like 5 of them. It was really inexpensive. And they came, I put it in, and while I was testing it inside the house, the dust collector started. I just needed batteries. Alright, time for the first coat of finish, and we'll be using shellac-based sanding sealer. I hope you have a good angle to see this. Really cool colors in here. It would have looked so dry before you get the finish back in there, and it probably looks like it did when it was growing. Real nice. Cool feature right here. Looks like it probably was a branch. A little inclusion that we're going to try to keep when we do the inside. So yeah, this doesn't take long to get around something this size. Okay, let me get the rest of the sealer on, get another coat, and probably some shellac, and then we'll have it flipped around tomorrow morning, or maybe tomorrow afternoon. Alright, I'm back on this, and it should be pretty easy to get it hollowed out. I'm doing about 980 RPM, same 1/2 inch bowl gouge. So when I flipped it around before I put it into the chuck, I put a piece of tape across here and I filled this crack with CA glue because I really like that feature that's on that side and I wanted to try to keep it. So we'll see how it turns out. I mean, it's not totally flat because it was missing a piece of wood, but it's going to be interesting. I'm going to get that edge flat so I know where I'm at. Alright, I've got this cleaned up here. That's going to be easy enough to sand, so now I can start cutting deeper. About 3/8 of an inch. Let's see what we have here. That's about 1/8 right in the middle, and this is about where the base starts, and that's about almost 1/4. So I could take some more off of here and about 1/8 off of that. Let's go ahead and put a little witness down there. Alright, we won't take any more off of that. About one more cut. And I think we just did it. Yep, that's it right there. Okay, I think it's probably time to do some sanding. Except I do have a couple ridges up here I didn't get. Let's go ahead and bring this out. Okay, now we can do some sanding. Alright, it's time to do some sanding. I'll start with 80 grit and 2-inch disc and sand up to 400. We'll come back and get a finish on it. Lathe will be running forward at about 400 RPM. Pretty easy. Alright, it's time for the first coat of sealer, but I went over it with this fine Scotch-Brite first, and it leaves it extremely smooth. It almost looks like it has a finish on it. That's just about it right there. I'm liking making these little ones. And I may have to make another little one with things going on. I don't want to tackle a big one right now. So, there it is. Probably another coat of this and some shellac, and I'll come back and we need to take that tenon off. Alrighty, it's time to remove the tenon. Okay, it runs pretty good. Alright, use a 1/2-inch bowl gouge to get rid of most of this. Okay, let's see if we can cut that nub off. We did it. It worked. Thank you, Phil, for this trick. Okay, I just got to sand the rest of this center section out and sign it and get some finish on it. I'll come back and show you what we have, and I'll show you something else that I had going on here. Well, here it is. I think it's a pretty little bowl. Has a lot going on. It's got some beautiful grain in it, lots of features. This looks like it could have been a branch coming down this way because it's also on the inside. Little inclusion right here that I had to do a little patching because there was a crack, and got CA in there before I turned the inside. It's just got interesting grain in it. It's got that little knot which also shows up on the inside. I like it a lot. I left some bark down in here. It really sanded up great, and it took a nice finish. I used 2 coats of sanding sealer, which was shellac based, and 2 coats of shellac. And like I say, it really created a nice smooth finish. 6 inches in diameter, it's 2 3/4 inches tall, and the walls are 1/4 of an inch. And here's the grain on the base. I'm not sure I showed you that. Oh, and then I left some bark down here. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I took it inside and I got the approval, so it gets to live inside now. I had something else that I was going to show you. I did a review on a helical head for my joiner. The company Fine Buy Tool sent it to me. They also talked about some gouges they had, and they offered to send those, and they said I don't have to make a video on them if I didn't want to. I decided to try them here. So it's M2 Cryo, and I guess that's the steel type. I will put a link in the description if you want to take a look at these. I don't think they cost very much. And that's the 1/2 inch, that's the 3/8. And he came really sharp and he turned quite well. And I know it's a reasonable price, but I just wanted to pass that on. Again, this is not a review of them other than I think they worked good. But this is what the video was about, this beautiful little piece of cherry. And thank you, John, for sending me the wood. I know I sure had a lot of fun making this, and I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I sure hope you did enjoy the video, even though this one's kind of small, pretty simple to turn, but it's just full of some beautiful colors and grain in there and nice little features. So if you did enjoy it, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. I do enjoy reading all your comments. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. And to all you current subscribers, thank you very much. So, till the next time, see you later.